Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got back from a screening after seeing Annabelle Creation. This is a 2017 horror film that was directed by David F. Sandberg. It is indeed the prequel to Annabelle, which was the spin-off to The Conjuring. Try to keep up with me. Alright. The plot is we meet these little girls who are at an orphanage. They're being taken by this nun over to this house that belongs to this couple. Sam and Esther Mullins. The Mullins, 12 years ago, tragically lost their daughter in a freak accident. You can see it in the trailer if you want. And so now they're opening their home for these little girls to stay at until they find a family that will take them in and whatnot. And we follow these two girls in particular, two girls who are like best friends and they want to even find a family together. Well, that is until weird shit starts happening in this house, and it all revolves around, you guessed it, that damn Annabelle doll. So what did I think about Annabelle Creation? Well, I thought the movie was okay. I did. I didn't dislike it. I can't really say I loved it either, but I thought it was decent enough. It did what it set out to do. The crowd I saw it with enjoyed it, that's for sure. But let's talk about the story. Sam and Esther Mullins, you see this couple and the tragedy that they go through. You almost wish that you got more behind them. You get little bits and pieces throughout the movie and near the end, but they were a couple who we start the movie off with. Sam Mullins is, it says creations, right? So he's the guy who creates this Annabelle doll, carves it and based it after his daughter. And you sort of feel like they were going to be a bigger deal in the movie, but they're not. They're not. Like I said, we focus on these little girls who, the main girl, Janice, is played by Talitha Bateman. And I've never seen this actress before, this little girl. I've never seen her in anything that I can think of, but she was great. She was great. I felt so freaking bad for her, not just because she had polio and she had to have her leg in a brace and she could barely walk around without the contraption, and the other girls in the orphanage, some of them were making fun of her, picking on her, and you're like, oh, well, that sucks. But then when you get to the actual Annabelle doll and the demon that's attached to it, it like seeks her out, specifically targets her and fucks with her and does all these messed up things to her. And I'm like, God damn it, this girl can't catch a break. And she's such a nice, like the character, she's such a nice girl. You feel so bad watching all these things happen to her. Her best friend in the movie is played by Lulu Wilson, who I was looking at this girl and I thought, you look familiar, like way too familiar. And then I realized that she was in Ouija, Origin of Evil, the prequel to Ouija, just last year, and she was really good in that. She's also really good in here as well. For a little girl doing these horror movies back to back, she did a good job. I really like these two girls' relationship with each other. But the Annabelle doll, I had this complaint in the first movie, and I'll continue the complaint here with this doll, is that this doll doesn't really do anything. Like physically, the doll just sits there, and it's in a chair, or it's in the corner of a room, and it just sits there. Now granted, the first movie, that was more of an issue. This film at least had moments where the doll's head was turned and looking at you. You didn't see it physically turn, but like you'd be looking one way and then you look back and then the doll's head is turned. Or you're looking at something, you turn and the doll has moved or somehow wound up in one place to another. And so stuff like that, it was like, okay, that's something. But the whole idea is built around this doll, and the doll really isn't anything. The doll is just a conduit. It's a vessel to help a demon, I guess, come over and do whatever it wants to do. And there was moments, I can't lie or deny that there weren't moments where some scenes made me jump, some scenes creeped me the fuck out, and some scenes with the demon, when you saw very little of it, but when you do see it in the dark, or its fingers, or its face and mouth, it was creepy. So on those levels, sure, fine, it delivers. Maybe the reason what stopped me from loving this movie has more to do with the theater experience that I had. And I've had this before with many other films, especially horror movies, and I was sitting there during the movie and I discovered how much I hate going to a movie theater. I hate it. I hate being around the people. I hate how all of these people just talk like it's their living room, talk to each other, have conversations, talk out loud, laugh out loud, one person belly laughing when there's nothing funny going on screen, and then that causes a bunch of other people to laugh, and I'm sitting there, and other people around me are sitting there, like, looking around like, what the fuck is going on? I'm trying to enjoy this. Or how about the person literally right in front of me taking their phone out and recording scenes from this movie? And look, I know it's piracy, all this stuff. I was just distracted by it. That was really my annoyance of it. And I didn't want to be the guy who tries to wave down a security person to throw them out. I just was sitting there and I'm like, does nobody else see this? Does nobody else give a shit? And I was so distracted. Person behind me kicking my chair 3 or 4 times and I'm having to say something. It's fucking annoying. I hate going to the movies. I do. If I didn't love movies in and of themselves in general, then I wouldn't go. Hell, sometimes for screenings, I decide not to go because I just don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to deal with this annoyance. So yeah, that hurt some of my experience watching this movie. Yeah, there were just some things that were getting to me and being frustrated, and I don't know. I just wish that I could somehow watch these movies in the comfort of my own house. Like brand new movies when they come out, what's the price? I'm almost willing to pay it at this point. The plot had interesting moments. I might not have loved it. I might have thought that they could have fleshed out some parts, but the film is almost 2 hours long. They do take their time. They do put some more effort than most other horror movies usually would. And trying to put the theater experience aside, I think I will give this a matinee. So guys, sorry for the rant. I just had to throw that in there. It's been racking my brain since. But the movie itself is actually pretty decent. Let me know in the comments below if you're at all interested in checking out Annabelle Creation. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later. Please won't you save my desires on fire. Sometimes you need a little piece.